Lil Durk really thought his last court update would calm everything down. That paperwork dropped like a sigh of relief, like the prosecutors finally eased off him, like the case was moving in his favor. But tonight, social media is spinning in a different direction. Nobody knows what's real, nobody knows what's fake, but the one thing everybody agrees on right now, the feds never stop watching, because suddenly these updated notes hint at delays, revised statements, a possible witness cooperation clause, and a mysterious refile entry on a digital docket that was supposed to be done months ago, and the streets are bugging out. Why is this case still alive? Why are they still adjusting language? Who came back to the table? Fans are screenshotting every line like it's a Bible verse. OPP accounts are accusing Durk of cutting corners. Some are whispering that this might be tied to old street situations, stuff the internet has argued about for 5 years straight. Nothing is confirmed, but speculation never waits for evidence. Testimonial? Did somebody give a statement? Did someone recant one? Did somebody switch sides? Nobody knows, but emotions ran high immediately. The family is staying silent. OTF pages are posting cryptic emojis. So now the questions turn darker. If someone is cooperating, who is it? If somebody fled, where did they go? If someone stayed solid, why is the case breathing again? Nothing is proven. None of this is confirmed. But one thing is clear. The streets want answers, and this update didn't settle anything. Nobody is arguing whether Lil Durk has money, lawyers, or brand power. He does. Nobody is arguing whether OTF has influence. Of course they do. The real argument is whether influence can control a courtroom. See, streets and industry love to act like accusations fade if somebody goes on tour or drops a hit, but prosecutors don't stream music, and they damn sure don't care about first week sales. They care about statements, witnesses, timelines, contradictions, and the new paperwork floating online has everybody whispering the same terrifying word: cooperation. That's where the emotional tension starts, because Durk has spent 5 years maintaining one image: solid, loyal, silent. Courts move slow, but reputations move faster. So when a clerk-stamped PDF floating on Reddit mentions adjusted testimony review, fans immediately assume somebody opened their mouth. But before you even get to that rumor, you gotta rewind the emotional history. Durk's family went through hell around this situation. Travel restrictions, appearance bonds, private fright, public confidence. One side of the internet treats this like it's just rap gossip, but his family lived every court date like a funeral countdown. Every motion hearing was a week of anxiety. Every delayed filing meant lawyers were still fighting ghosts, and those ghosts weren't imaginary. Street bloggers kept resurfacing the same story. Somebody in that original case disappeared, vanished. Nothing is confirmed. Everything is terrifying. Durk stayed quiet. But silence is a double-edged blade. When a rapper tweets through panic, fans say he's guilty. When a rapper says nothing, fans think he's negotiating. Which one is it here? Does silence mean confidence or fear of self-incrimination? Sources claim Durk didn't want any public reaction this time. Allegedly, his lawyers told him, "Do not speak, do not tweet." But while legal teams strategize, the internet does what it does best: panic. That panic escalated when a supposed court note summary leaked on X. It mentioned new review dates. It didn't name names, but it didn't have to. As soon as supplemental evidence pops up, rumor accounts scream snitch. Some fans defended him. He's good, but legal insiders clapped back instantly. Dismissed isn't erased. And OTF fans hated that sentence. That phrase became an instant headline. A narrative discrepancy means somebody said two different things. Two timelines, two stories. One of them is a lie. Now here's where betrayal anxiety enters, because rumor-hungry fans started pointing fingers at people Durk once stood next to. Old associates, former affiliates, people who haven't posted since the pandemic. Some names aren't even alive anymore. But conspiracy culture doesn't care about logic. They care about narrative theater. Instant 7K retweets. Did prosecutors say that? No, but the streets believe tweets more than they believe transcripts. Meanwhile, inside Durk's own circle, emotions ran high. People close to him allegedly warned, everything is being watched, which implies panic, fear of self-exposure, fear of loose talk. The family stayed divided. Some relatives allegedly wanted Durk to go full PR, get ahead of rumors, post confidence, control narrative. Others begged him to stay silent because every syllable can be dissected. And then fans dragged India Royale into it. She didn't say one word about court updates, not a syllable, but her silence turned into interpretation. She wasn't talking about law, she was posting nails and vacations, but the internet wants symbolism. If she's quiet, they say she's distancing. If she's supportive, they say she's hiding something. India can't win that PR war. But add in another emotional layer. Durk already carries trauma from losing people around him, from losing Vaughn, from surviving fame while living through indictments. The streets always talk loyalty, but trauma pushes people into silence. And silence breeds paranoia. Who's loyal? Who's angry? Who's scared of indictments? Who's scared of subpoenas? Why? Because he's not appearing everywhere. He's not showing reckless confidence. He's not arguing online. That restraint looks like fear or discipline, but discipline becomes conspiracy fuel. Now, here's the wildest unconfirmed part. A blogger posted that someone from a previous witness list allegedly resurfaced in a separate case. No documents, no receipts, but rumor phrasing like sealed deposition sends shockwaves. Suddenly fans think the entire thing is federal. They forget state versus fed. They just see big legal words and panic spreads fast. Nobody had answers, but everybody claimed to. One guy in a space said, "This is bigger than rap," but none of it had proof. But proof isn't what fuels chaos. Emotion does. Meanwhile, Durk's lawyers get dragged even though they haven't lost anything. Legal work is chess. Emotion is checkers. The internet only knows checkers. And behind all of that hype sits one dark question hanging over part 1. If nothing was wrong, if nobody cooperated, if the case was clean, why does the paperwork still move? Because the internet didn't want calm. They wanted names, accusations, and someone to blame. Within 24 hours of the court note leak, the conversation mutated from concern into conspiracy warfare. Fans weren't asking if someone talked, they were asking who talked. And whenever the word snitch floats around a rapper's circle, people stop worrying about facts and start hunting suspects. The first name trending wasn't even a suspect, it was a mystery witness code. Nobody knows if W3 is even real, but social media treated it like gospel. Suddenly fans were listing old friends, former affiliates, dead rappers, missing associates, matching initials like they were CSI interns. One troll account tweeted, "W3 means witness number 3, third one flipped." That hit 20k likes. Did anyone confirm a third witness? Absolutely not, but paranoia feeds engagement, and engagement becomes narrative. He posted a muffled clip of a courtroom ambiance followed by voices. Zero context, zero authentication, but fans believed it instantly. That sentence spread across platforms like law school scripture, even though nobody verified it. But emotional damage doesn't need proof, it just needs momentum. Momentum exploded once fans dragged that Atlanta incident back into the spotlight. The same old parking lot shooting narrative resurfaced. People who never read a transcript started treating rumor threads like Supreme Court memoranda. Somebody tweeted a conspiracy collage, mugshots, police tape, lyrics, blurred paperwork. They captioned it, "Nothing disappears." Legal panic amplifies when rap lyrics enter the chat. Blogs started pairing Durk's music with alleged legal meaning. A freestyle clip morphed into coded messaging. The internet turned art into confession overnight. Boom, viral, even though she didn't name Durk, didn't prove relevance, didn't cite a docket. But perception beats accuracy online, and perception got uglier once family proximity entered the storyline. Somebody screenshotted a family member's IG who posted a praying hands emoji. That single emoji turned into propaganda. It sounds ridiculous, but this is how rumor economies work. Emotional interpretation becomes legal speculation. Somebody cries, guilty. Somebody prays, sentencing. Somebody posts a vacation photo, witness protection. Then fans dragged India Royale right back into the furnace. She posted a beauty pic, smiling, soft lighting, luxury background, harmless. This was pure nonsense, but the culture eats nonsense like candy. Durk, according to Chatter, stayed fully silent during all of this. Not one tweet, not one IG story, and that silence felt like gasoline. This is the insanity of the algorithm era. If you tweet, you're guilty. If you don't tweet, you're guilty. If you smile, you're guilty. If you hide, you're guilty. Innocence has no digital behavior pattern. Meanwhile, the streets started doing their own investigation, using timeline math. Some accounts noted that certain people stopped appearing around OTF right when the original charges shifted. Another account noted someone allegedly moved cities and never looked back. Was any of that documented? No. Did it matter? No. Because people want a fall guy. The fall guy energy intensified when one blurred message screenshot dropped. No sender ID, no timestamp. Fake? Probably. Viral? Definitely. A fan reposted it with, "This the crack in the loyalty chain." Nothing in the screenshot referenced Durk, but the culture doesn't need specificity. The culture needs adrenaline. That phrase turned into a rallying cry. Who? Nobody knows, but random names became collateral damage. A Chicago gossip page blamed a former collaborator. A troll account blamed a deceased affiliate. A Rap T page blamed a former tour member. No proof, no sourcing, pure chaos. That chaos reached Zoom call panic when a rumored law firm associate tweeted, "Courtrooms don't forget." And reconsideration sounds like reversal. Reversal sounds like charges resurrecting. Resurrection sounds like indictments. That's when people started asking the scariest question: can prosecutors bring old charges back? Legal experts online gave contradictory answers. Confusion adds oxygen, and oxygen makes paranoia breathe deeper. That paranoia hit full throttle when someone alleged they saw Durk meeting privately with lawyers for 5 hours. No context. Could have been business. Could have been personal. But rumor pages spun it as legal panic. Nobody knows what that even means, but it sounds messy enough to trend. Then came betrayal speculation, because legal problems always return to loyalty collapse. People began pointing at old drama, old tweets, old affiliations, old tension. Social media turned unfollows into subpoenas. Likes became testimonies. Memes became indictments. And in the middle of all this, no official lawyer statement, no prosecutor clarification, no judge remarks, just noise. But noise is lethal. That's when fans started circling one brutal question. If nothing is wrong, why hasn't Durk celebrated the progress? If the case was truly dead, why didn't he victory lap? Why didn't India toast it? Why didn't OTF throw a countdown? Why didn't lawyers post confidence? Those questions aren't legal, they're emotional. The public decides guilt based on mood, and right now, the mood is suspicion, because one subtle court phrase, testimonial review, turned into a hurricane. Now the internet wants what it always wants: a name, a leak, a snitch, a villain, a confession, a victim, a meltdown. But before the streets find any of that, another rumor creeps out. This case might involve somebody the fans didn't even know was present. Because once the streets start whispering anonymous witness, people inside the industry lose their composure. Nothing terrifies rappers like the idea of a person with no street identity, no public image, and no loyalty debt making statements behind closed doors. You can't intimidate what you can't see. You can't verify what you can't name. So the rumor mill locked onto a new panic term: sealed cooperation. A messy YouTube blog, one with a history of inventing half its scoops, claimed a sealed cooperation provision existed somewhere in Durk's case history. Nobody verified it, but people shared it anyway. That sentence became a chant. TikTok edits slapped dramatic music over old Durk footage, like prosecutors were about to walk on stage with paperwork. Somebody on X wrote, "If he clean, they unseal it." That comment hit 15,000 likes in 1 hour. From there, emotional chaos took over. Suddenly, the public wasn't debating evidence. They were debating Durk's identity. People who once worshipped his resilience now questioned whether that resilience meant something darker: negotiation. Meanwhile, Durk's family felt the tension firsthand. A relative posted a Bible quote, something harmless about peace. That single post was screenshotted, cropped, and captioned, "She praying for the case to go away." That wasn't what she meant, but the internet doesn't care about intention. The internet cares about implication. Then the panic hit OTF fan pages. Comment sections turned into war zones. Another said, "Nobody survives courtrooms." OTF supporters clapped back, insisting Durk was innocent, insisting the case was old, insisting the rumors were haters trying to drain momentum. But the opposition refused to chill. They kept repeating one mantra: courtrooms don't vanish. That's when somebody dredged up old trauma. Vaughn, a post surfaced implying that one unresolved narrative around Vaughn's situation intersected emotionally with Durk's legal fears. Zero evidence, total clout grab, but emotional fans treated it like a solved puzzle. Tweets read, "He been losing brothers too long," and now the narrative wasn't legal anymore. It was psychological. Allegedly, Durk was holding guilt, loss, anxiety, pressure, betrayal. Allegedly, he distrusted his circle. Allegedly, he couldn't sleep. No credentials, no professionalism, viral anyway. Then the family interference expanded. That friend said it on a live stream. That live stream hit 20K views, and suddenly the message turned into fact. Durk isolating. But isolation is normal when lawyers lock down communication. Doesn't matter. Social media says isolation equals panic. India Royale got dragged back into discourse again, even though she said nothing about law. Deranged, but viral. meaning maybe a remote testimony. Remote testimony sounds like someone doesn't want to show their face. Durk's supporters tried to remind the internet that none of this came from official sources. But facts don't outperform adrenaline. Then a Chicago YouTube personality claimed someone from the old case had signed an affidavit months ago. No document was shown, no sourcing, just a gravel-voiced narrator hinting at doom. That video hit 200,000 views in 48 hours, and reactions got theatrical. One viewer commented, "Affidavit means cooperation." These civilians suddenly became legal scholars. The emotional meltdown climaxed when someone claimed Durk had a panic call with his lawyer. Is that real? Nobody knows. Probably not. But that line replaced objectivity with drama. Suddenly people started psychoanalyzing Durk's decisions. Did he avoid interviews because he feared being asked about the case? Did he decline certain festivals because of background checks? Did he cancel certain video shoots because prosecutors monitor optics? Speculation layered into anxiety. Anxiety layered into betrayal. Now everyone suspects someone. And then the darkest rumor yet surfaced. Someone claimed that a former associate allegedly contacted a lawyer independently. That detail became a frenzy. Does that make sense? Not really. But the streets aren't a law classroom. In street logic, new lawyers equal new testimony. Emotions ran so high that someone actually asked whether the case could trigger a RICO expansion. Nobody credible suggested that, just conspiracy loons. But once a rumor mentions RICO, the public treats it like prophecy. Friends started DMing bloggers asking if OTF was compromised. Some even speculated that certain people distancing themselves from the brand meant cooperation deals. No evidence, just chaos. And then a new secret leak detonated the temperature. A rumor that the court requested video review. Again, zero proof, but video review suggests evidence. Evidence suggests surveillance footage. Surveillance suggests someone visible. From there, emotional fear transformed into existential dread. The street mentality asks a haunting question whenever footage is mentioned. Did someone identify you? That's assassination-level paranoia. At that point, Durk, who still hadn't posted a word, became the centerpiece of a psychological war. Fans needed reassurance. Ops needed confirmation. Families needed closure. And yet, Durk gave nobody anything to hold on to. That's when a rumor dropped that Durk allegedly told his team, "Don't respond to the bloggers." If true, that's discipline. If false, that's wishful thinking. But it sounded controlled enough to trend. Still, the biggest emotional collapse wasn't online, it was allegedly in private. True or false, that statement summarizes the spiritual crisis of part 3. It's no longer about paperwork, no longer about evidence, not even about guilt. It's about doubt. Doubt in friends, doubt in lawyers, doubt in government, doubt in silence. And the single most poisonous question poisoning his circle right now: if a witness exists, do they fear Durk's crew, or does Durk fear them? The conversation surrounding Durk isn't about paperwork anymore. It's about survival, legal survival, public survival, legacy survival. Because in rap culture, a courtroom rumor can stain harder than a conviction. You can beat the case and still lose the narrative. The streets don't read acquittals, they read headlines. And right now, the headlines sound like interrogation room lights. That's when the next twist surfaces. Not from a troll, not from a fake audio clip, but from an alleged clerk log somebody posted in a forum. Continuance means another delay, another stall, another breath in a case that was supposedly dead. The idea of a deal triggered more hysteria. A deal implies negotiating. Negotiating implies leverage. Leverage implies someone wants something. Who, Durk? Prosecutors? A witness? Nobody knows. Not a single person with an official title confirmed anything, but uncertainty is gasoline. This was when social media stopped theorizing about cooperation and instead theorized about strategy. Did Durk's legal team want delay? Did prosecutors want delay? Did someone refuse to testify? Did someone recant testimony? Did someone disappear again? Every question added weight. The emotional stakes tightened like handcuffs, and the internet started imagining courtroom confrontations. Somebody else wrote, "Somewhere a statement gotta match a statement, and if it don't," that word, lied, sits like a guillotine, because once lying enters a legal file, perjury becomes possible. Perjury becomes jail time. Jail time becomes bargaining. Bargaining becomes cooperation. Cooperation becomes betrayal. That chain reaction is what fans fear most. Others mentioned an Alford agreement like they were legal scholars. Every theory sounded cinematic. Nobody explained statutes. Nobody cited law. They just spoke like prosecutors with microphones. But then something weird happened. Durk cracked the silence. Not with a statement, not with a post, not with a live stream, but with a studio snippet. 15 seconds, bass heavy. That line detonated. Fans screamed loyalty. Ops screamed deflection. Legal pages warned that rappers shouldn't record while under scrutiny. But everybody reacted emotionally because lyrics aren't lyrics anymore. They're treated like testimony. Whether the snippet was old or new didn't matter. Emotion replaced chronology. And then, out of nowhere, a calmer narrative tried to surface. They said delays happen all the time. They said testimonial language doesn't equal cooperation. They said prosecutors drag things because of paperwork, not witnesses. That should have helped. It didn't, because once suspicion sets in, logic becomes boring. That's twisted logic, but street psychology feeds on twisted logic. Gratitude equals innocence. Silence equals guilt, even though that's not how the legal world works. Then another rumor slid through the cracks. Somebody alleged a family member told them, "Durk good." But reassurance doesn't trend. Fear trends, betrayal trends, snitching trends. Nobody screenshots comfort. Fans ate that line alive. It meant internal tension. It meant private arguments. It meant fear. That fear turned into melodrama when fans started asking if OTF could splinter. Could Durk distance himself from people? Remove liabilities? Remove doubters? Remove leakers? One troll claimed OTF unfollowed someone. Not true, but believable enough to trend. This is the curse of digital gangland mythology. Every unfollow becomes a desertion. Every emoji becomes a confession. Every silence becomes a funeral. And Durk, who has spent his career burying friends, burying guilt, burying trauma, now has to bury rumors. But rumors don't die, because right when the discourse began calming, one more twist arrived. It was baseless fiction, but 3 hours later it hit 100,000 views. Logic vanished. Procedure became conspiracy. Clerks became operatives. Durk became a chess piece. And the fans, caught between fear and loyalty, are now asking the nightmare question the prosecutors never had to ask themselves. If someone is cooperating, does that put Durk in danger legally or emotionally? Legal danger is measurable. Emotional danger is catastrophic. Because once betrayal becomes believed, it becomes real. And once doubt becomes public, it becomes legacy. Right now, Durk's legacy hangs on a rumor somebody whispered to the courts, and until the next official update drops, the entire culture is stuck in a holding pattern, forced to live with the possibility that silence is either strength or the sound of something breaking. And that's where everything stands tonight, suspended in rumor, wrapped in legal mystery, and fueled by a courtroom update that didn't answer a single question. Lil Durk didn't collapse, didn't celebrate, didn't panic publicly, he just stayed silent. And silence is the most dramatic response of all, because now everyone is free to project their worst fears. Did a witness speak? Did a lawyer stall? Did prosecutors drag their feet because they're confused or because they're confident? Nobody knows. Nothing is confirmed, but perception is loud and perception is killing the internet right now. OTF fans are swearing loyalty. OPE pages are calling cooperation. Legal Twitter is pulling terminology out of PDFs like they passed the bar exam. Family members can't post a prayer hand without becoming suspects. India Royale can't upload a photo without accusations. Every emoji is a clue. Every lyric is a testimony. Every delay is a conspiracy. This isn't even about guilt or innocence anymore. This is about interpretation, and interpretation shapes legacy. So now I'm asking you, the person watching this video right now, be honest. Whose side are you on in this legal limbo? Do you think Durk is fighting ghosts and sloppy paperwork? Or do you think somebody really sat down and talked? Do you believe this case is procedural noise? Or the quiet setup for a courtroom explosion? Do you think Durk's silence is discipline or fear? Drop a comment right now. Is this cooperation or paranoia? Is this legal strategy or damage control? And if a mystery witness exists, who do you think it is? Hit like if you want the next leak. Hit subscribe if you want the next breakdown. Turn on notifications, because when those next court notes drop, when somebody finally speaks, when one rumor turns into documentation, we're covering it frame by frame, line by line, twist by twist. Until then, the streets want answers, the fans want names, and the law ain't done breathing yet.